Here is the English translation. An abandoned tunnel. Zhang Yuanqing panicked, looking around. Being suddenly brought to an unfamiliar environment would make anyone anxious and at a loss. A tunnel? Is this the Xiling Tunnel from the ghost story? As a native of Songhai City, he naturally knew of the Xiling Tunnel among the top 10 mysteries. When he was naughty and wouldn't sleep as a child, Granny would use ghost stories to scare him. But legends were intangible stories. And Zhang Yuanqing had passed by the real Xiling Tunnel just days ago on his way back home to pay respects to his late father. How could the real one be so decrepit? That's right, this is a spirit realm, not the actual Xiling Tunnel. The cramped space made him uneasy. Zhang Yuanqing cautiously walked forward, hearing only his lonely footsteps. As he walked, he pondered his situation and the information from the voice in his head. Undoubtedly, he had encountered the supernatural and was brought into a ghost story to complete the mysterious powers tasks. It gave me 2 tasks: to survive 3 hours and explore the spirit realm. Difficulty S, single-player death match. The death match part really scares me. Surviving 3 hours meant immense danger. Exploring the spirit realm, probably exploring this tunnel. So the tunnel was very dangerous? He quietly tensed his nerves. At the same time, a question flashed through his mind: what rewards would completing the tasks bring? Since these were tasks, there must be rewards. Based on the attributes panel, my class is Night Walker, but level 0 instead of 1. Becoming a Night Walker is probably 1 reward. What's a Night Walker? Brother Bing was right. This black card really can change lives. But I overlooked the second half: it's very hard to control, meaning how dangerous it is. Zhang Yuanqing silently analyzed the information he had. Just then, the old xenon lamp beside him seemed to have faulty wiring, flickering a few times. In the alternating light and darkness, Zhang Yuanqing vaguely saw a figure wearing a miner's hat standing under the lamp. Damn! He jumped in fright, his train of thought instantly derailed. He ran ahead, frightened like a spooked deer. Looking back, the xenon lamp kept shining without more flickering. The figure in the miner's hat seemed to be his illusion. Spooked by this, Zhang Yuanqing didn't dare linger in this ghostly place and quickly headed for the tunnel exit. His footsteps echoed in the silent tunnel. Zhang Yuanqing didn't stop for even a step, jogging like this for 5 or 6 minutes until the arc lamps flickered again. But this time, no figure appeared. Didn't follow? Slightly relieved, he didn't dare stop and walked quickly with his head lowered. Suddenly, his gaze fixed on the ground noticed a heart-stopping detail. The orange xenon light cast his shadow very long. At the edge of his shadow were over a dozen more shadows following him. They've been following me all this time? Chills raced from his feet to his head, exploding in goosebumps all over. Zhang Yuanqing's face turned pale as he fled wildly. Finally, the tunnel exit appeared up ahead, the moonlight outside cool as frost. Zhang Yuanqing rushed out in one breath, hands on his knees, panting heavily. After catching his breath, he looked around. The round moon hung lonesomely in the night sky, its radiance dimming the stars. The lush woods were bathed in moonlight, casting large swathes of dense shadows. He was on a desolate mountain. The xenon lamps in the tunnel flickered out entirely. The massive tunnel mouth was pitch black and silent, like a beast's maw ready to devour. Leave quickly. Zhang Yuanqing's scalp tingled as he climbed the rugged mountain path. After a dozen steps, he looked back again and saw a row of figures wearing miners' hats and tattered clothes, heads lowered, standing at the tunnel mouth. They stood in the shadows where the moonlight didn't reach, silent as if seeing him off. Zhang Yuanqing startled backwards a few steps before twisting around and running up the mountain. The mountain path was flanked by lush branches and leaves, sprinkling fragmented moonlight, enough for Zhang Yuanqing to see the road clearly. But the eerie silence of the mountains was frightening, without insect chirps or bird calls, making his footsteps seem especially loud. Too quiet, there's no way the mountain would be this silent without even insects in this season. He looked all around. The round moon and swaying shadows made him feel something was watching from the darkness. After walking for who knows how long until his body was slick with sweat, Zhang Yuanqing finally emerged from the dense woods. His view suddenly opened up. The moonlight resembled water. At the end of the rugged mountain path was an abandoned old temple, silently standing in the darkness. The temple had been deserted for who knew how many years. The front gate's paint was mottled black with erosion, the broken lanterns at the eaves left only bamboo frames on the ground. The horizontal plaque was still there, covered in cobwebs, hanging askew from the eaves. But it was too dark to see what was written on it. The stone steps before the gate were full of cracks and overgrown with weeds. With the desolate mountains around, how could there be a temple here untouched by village or store? Wait, a temple? Zhang Yuanqing reacted sharply. It was as if he could hear the voice from the realm introduction in his ears again. Don't enter the temple, don't enter the temple. Based on that strange voice's prompt, I shouldn't enter the temple. No, I already left the tunnel, so that means what I truly need to explore is this dilapidated old temple. After hesitating for a long time at the temple entrance, Zhang Yuanqing cautiously stepped forward into the darkness towards the abandoned temple, crossing the damaged threshold. What entered his sight was a spacious front courtyard overgrown with waist-high weeds. A rotten incense burner that once stood half a man's height had toppled amidst the grass, weathered by who knew how many years of wind and rain.